Yes, you can fix it. The battery that you're gonna see in this video, it's right at the bottom over there. And it's still working today. It went over 300 cycles of charge a year later since I made that video. Absolutely no problems. That's a $200 battery that I've saved. Not only that it didn't go into the trash, but it saved me a cool 200 bucks. So if you have a lithium iron phosphate battery that is acting like the one that I had, this is a simple fix. This video is gonna help you out a lot. My chin battery is dead. If you let it sit more than 6 months, something might happen. The BMS goes to sleep, and even if you wake it up, it doesn't wake up anymore. It doesn't hold a charge. It says full, and then this reports volts 14.5, whatever. But if we put it under load, this is what's gonna happen. So let's pull 750 watts out of it. Not maximum, just half. And that's it. So the BMS turned off, and it shows up as being empty. So what you do is you run your knife around, and then you put it under, and at this point you could just pry it open. So this cap just came off, and these are the bars. So they're connected in series, and then this is the positive, this is the negative. So let's see what we got here on the terminals. 12.65. So this one is 3.3. 3.3, 3.5, 2.5. So this one is really, really, really low. So obviously these are unbalanced. Maybe the cells are so unbalanced that it doesn't know how to balance them. After this investigation, I assume that it's a top balance issue. So that's the good voltage, 3.3, 3.3. This one is too high, this one is too low. So that's what we are having an issue. This BMS was supposed to top balance them, but it doesn't have that function. So now we have to top balance them, it seems like manually. These BMSs, they do have these leads over here that were supposed to not only read, but also help with the top balancing. I think this particular brand doesn't, or it just doesn't do it. This is not good. The problem with this battery is that the cells are welded together. So unless you cut those bars out, it's almost impossible to bring them all to the same voltage. What you have to do is you have to get a balancing board. This cell is too charged. This cell is too discharged, but their sum total, it's enough to trick the BMS that they're okay. So if you look at these two cells together, they are doing 6.63 volts. But if I check these two cells together, 6.62 volts. So these telling the BMS that, oh, we're fine, even though this one is way too charged. So this is 3.8 and this one is 2.7. And this one is 3.3 and this one is 3.3. The issue that you have with top balancing lithium iron phosphate batteries is that they have a certain voltage that they start from 10% to 90%. It almost keeps the same voltage all the way through. So because of that, you don't know what state of charge these cells are. So you can't really just go by voltage and bring these lower and this higher, and then once it reaches a certain voltage, it is fine, because it could be at 50% or a 90% charge and still have 3.3-ish volts. This should fix the dumb BMS problems. So this is a balancing board. This is the capacitor balancing board, very famous out there. So it comes with a special connector, and then you have the typical black for negative, red for positive. So red, black, and then you have these. Green goes to B1, B2, B3, and this is basically B4. Okay, the box is plugged in. I've heard a couple of sparks coming, so that means that it's definitely doing some kind of work. So these are the cells that we are mostly interested in. These are the most unbalanced cells in between this in this battery. So let's see what's happening. It doesn't balance instantly, but we should see already movement. So we have 3.465. 3.464. So it's already starting to push power. So 3.463, and this one is 3.275. And I think it's going to go up if we are patient enough. But the absorption rate on this cell it's very, very different, because what happens is that because this cell is completely discharged, lithium iron phosphate cells stay at that voltage for a very, very long time. So right now it's moving power from this one, a third cell, to the fourth cell. And this takes time. So this is a balancing board. I think it can do a maximum of 5 amps. So at 5 amps, it will take a while for this thing to transfer the power. A couple of hours later, I can see all the voltages going right. So I'm closing it with the balancer in it. The balancing board is installed over here on the side, just hot glue to the side. And I have a little hole so I can see when it's working. The hole is ugly, but it does the job. We're charging it at 7.1 amps. It already accepted 200 watts or watt hours from this controller. The balancing board is still lit up because it's still unbalanced. So already accepted 200 watt hours. This is obviously 1280. The balancer put 371 watt hours in it, which is double than the day before, which was double than the day before. So this is the third cycle that I'm running through it, and already is at 371. Next cycle most likely is going to be double that, so it's going to be 600, and then next cycle is going to be the right cycle. So it takes about 5 days for it to properly balance. Another charge completed. I'm going to let it settle, because right now this cell on this side is still very, very low. And they put over 150 watt hours more in it. So right now it just finished. You're going to need 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 charges before it's going to regain its entire strength. It takes time. You have 100 amp hours in each cell at 3-point-something volts. You have to shift 100 amp hours at 5 amp hours when the voltage difference is, and not always stays there. The cells, when they get really, really close, the voltage doesn't transfer. So you will not have that option to balance. So if you just let it sit without charging and discharging, it won't do much. It will try, but it will take forever. Well, when you charge it and discharge it, it forces the cell to be at different levels, and therefore more power gets pushed this way. So the cell's balanced a little bit faster. It's really, really nice to have a balancing board in it, and it's very, very important. This ends my video. I'm going to bring another video maybe later on with how good it balanced, but 2 or 3 more charges, and I think it's going to be in the thousands, and that's what I wanted. And if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it helps me out.